thanks for being with us here tonight, for joining us here tonight. Dave, what episode is this?
This is episode 2.1. It's not as easy to shout out.
I think we're 2.2.
2.2.
You've lost one in the translation.
This is season 2. Our season 2 being brought to us by our friends at the Buy Local Network. Thank you, Bob. And this is episode 2 of season 2, hence 2.2.
Yeah, unless you're like you and you're an episode behind.
The 2.1 was so good, he's still stuck in it.
I just love doing that. I just love doing that yoga so much.
You want to do yoga again. Well, hey, we got a great episode lined up for you for the second half of January, but we have some other exciting things to talk about with our partner here, the Buy Local Network. You have a new discount card out.
Yeah, it just came out on 1st of January.
Okay.
You know, you can go online and get it at buylocalfayette.org. You can get it for $15, or any of the businesses that are part of the network, you can pick it up for $8. And even at the Herald Standard and the Connersville Chamber, you can also pick them up for $8 there too.
So this card is good through 2015,
yeah,
is that
it's a
correct?
3-year card. So anybody that gets the card, it's not a 2-year card, it's not a 1-year card, it's good for 3 years. And there's also a little key fob on it if you notice that you break it off and hook it onto your key ring. You don't have to carry the big card around. That's something new that we did this year for this next 3 years.
And for something that you're going to have for 3 years, you know, you might not want it to be in your wallet all the time. It's a nice sturdy card. If it was paper, it may fall apart.
I see a cute, is it called a QR code there?
I was just going to say that. Anybody got a smartphone, you take a picture of that, and it'll take you right to the website that what discounts you have at businesses. And this is a card that, you know, sometimes you'll see schools have cards where you get your little pull off those little tabs
Right.
This card is good for 365 days out of the year, 3 or 4 times at a restaurant. I mean, if they're offering this 10% discount, you can eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner there and still get the same discount. So it's really a cool card, and a lot of people have saved a lot of money in relationship to supporting. And it's focused on, you know, small businesses, and we all know that when we support the small businesses, that's a huge part of our local economy.
Sure. Now, we have a small business that's going to be on our show today with our house chef, Chef Mario. Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about the new sauce company?
Donata LLC, based right out here of Springer Avenue here in Uniontown. And you know, Bob can tell you the importance of buying local. This is a local idea coming to fruition, and it's a family recipe.
Family recipe, and it's produced, you know, we love when things are produced in Fayette County, but just across the border down in West Virginia is where their manufacturer is. So a great product with local roots, and we're happy to have them on and to learn some more about their company.
And I think, Matt, the nice thing about this is it's a local entrepreneur that's producing a food processed product. And those are things that within the Buy Local program through our agriculture and our food side is that we're hoping to see more of that. I don't know, you may not remember DeMarco's potato chips, I do. And they were on
in the paper barrel?
Yes.
Yep.
And so I remember that when I was a kid, and there was a lot of that, and that's a real strong foundation of our local economy and of our community, and if we need to bring that back. And those are things that I'm excited about being able to see individuals like Ed.
So it's a little cold this time of the year for a farmer's market, but I know you'll have that coming up, and I know you have some other local products, kind of like the sauce. There was a local winery that was at some of the farmers markets this summer, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that as farmers market season rolls around.
And I'm excited with our partnership between, you know, Channel 77 and you know, Going Live. And so I'm really excited about our relationship growing even bigger as this year goes along.
You know, Buy Local and Fayette TV both celebrating the great things about Fayette County, the things that make this a great place to work and live and do business. And we're always, you know, both of us, hopefully always trying to push forward and advance Fayette County.
Well, I'd love to talk to the two of you all night, but I'm sure
we're getting
yeah. Someone get the big hook, Harry, the big hook. No, but we have a lot of great stuff packed into tonight's episode, so we got to get moving on with it. We're going to be opened up just a minute with a young man with a fantastic amount of talent. Nick Borowski, who is currently living in Switzerland, but is right from here in Fayette County. He'll be on the show talking about obesity and some of the research that he's involved with A really funny guy who is trying to make it out in New York City, but comes home. His home base is from Fayette County. Adam Lucidi, he's a comedian. He's going to be with us just a little bit later. So there's a lot that's going on tonight, and we have to get to that. So without any further ado, I'm going to toss it over to the other side of the studio for a song by Mr. Gino Malika. Gino?
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you'll come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Very nice job. Thanks for being with us, Gino.
Thank you.
So you have a great voice. Who was one of the first people that maybe told you that that you had the ability to sing, or was that something that you knew naturally?
You know, I kind of always thought I had something, but ever since I've been in, well, I started in the 5th grade choir. You know, everybody kept telling me once I got to 6th grade, actually got involved with some of the music programs in our district. They were, you know, everybody kept saying, you know, you need to go, you have an amazing talent, you know, you need to pursue it, you need to pursue it. I'm like, well, I always thought I was pursuing it enough and never really, you know, thought about actually going anywhere with it. And I started through the music programs at our school, and I started here locally with voice instructors. I started with the Kramers, started taking voice lessons from them, and I took from them probably for a good year and a half, 2 years. And now I now take voice lessons in Pittsburgh with a professor that teaches at Carnegie Mellon. So I kind of always have thought, you know, I knew I did have a talent, but sometimes when you don't realize what talent you have, you know, until you actually get out there and see it.
Sure. So what's maybe your favorite genre of music? You played us Josh Groban, correct, tonight? What's your favorite talent or genre?
Actually, I play and I sing at our church.
Okay.
So I do like Christian, anything contemporary, you know, like Josh Groban, anything that's not older, but like more contemporary music.
Sure. Sure. So who's your favorite singer, maybe?
You know, I do like Josh Groban a lot. A lot of people come up to me and say, you know, you sound like Josh Groban, or, you know, kind of resemble him. And I'm, you know, I've always, you know, I listen to him and I kind of try to not mimic his ways, but he does have an amazing voice and amazing range. And hopefully if I keep pursuing it, I'll have the same.
Sure. Well, I think you're definitely on your way.
Thank you.
You mentioned playing in church. You're playing a keyboard here today. You play the organ as well?
I actually haven't officially started playing the organ. I played one time in church. I played it. I take piano and voice lessons, and I'm going to start organ lessons. So hopefully in a year or so I'll be able to play the organ.
So what are maybe some future plans for music?
Hopefully, you know, I don't know if I want to major in it in the subject because it is such a hard career, but I'd like to at least get a minor in it. And even if I don't do anything but other than, you know, playing in church or singing in church, you know, there's always a need for a cantor and organist at church, and I do enjoy myself when I do that. So.
Well, hey, we enjoyed having you here and listening to you. I know you'll be closing out the program a little bit later, so stick around with us. We'll be back in just a moment with more Going Live with FCTV.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
Do you have a buy local card?
Yes, I have one.
I do.
Yeah, I have one. I use mine every day.
Where's your buy local card?
Use your buy local card to save money at restaurants, grocery stores, retail shops, tourist attractions, and service providers. Cards can be purchased online at www.buylocalfayette.org or by calling 724-437-7913.
Savor the flavor of Fayette. Buy local.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the Going Live couch, Nick Borowski. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. It's been quite a while since I've seen you. Several years probably.
A lot of people tell me that.
Well, that's what you do when you're hanging out in Switzerland. It's hard for us to run into you on the street. So let's talk a little bit about you. You're a 2005 graduate of Uniontown High School, local boy. Studied at St. Vincent in Pitt, and now you're pursuing a PhD in Switzerland. Tell us a little bit about how someone from Uniontown, from Fayette County, Pennsylvania, ends up in a PhD program in Switzerland. How's that opportunity come about?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. I was doing my master's at Pitt, and I was working in a lab in Montefiore Hospital, UPMC, and my advisor, who I was with working under, she came in one day and asked me, would you like to be one of my PhD students in Switzerland, because she's originally from Geneva, and so at first I was like, no, I don't want to do that, and then I thought about it, and I thought it was a good opportunity to advance myself professionally and see the world at the same time, so I took her up on it and went with her.
So before we talk a little bit about your research and what you're doing over in Switzerland, why don't we talk about maybe the landscape and climate? What's it like over there?
It's a really beautiful country. I live in Lausanne, which is about 45 minutes from Geneva, and it's surrounded by Lake Geneva and by the Alps, so it's really picturesque and beautiful landscape. And the temperature right now, it's pretty mild. It's about 45 degrees, but normally it's colder than here. In February, it'll cool down a lot more. So.
What about languages? National language of Switzerland?
You know, they speak 4 languages, and my region's French. And if
you've learned all 4 now, right?
Yeah, I wish. I wish I did. Yeah, it's my region's French, and then if you go down to the south, it's Italian, and if you go to Germany, it's towards the German side, it's all German.
Wow.
So they also have their own language called Romansh, which is like a Swiss mountain language that only a couple thousand people speak. So it's not really spoken that much, but the 3 are French, German, and Italian.
So it's a lot like here, where people speak Pittsburgh or West Virginian,
Exactly.
So you're speaking all 4 languages now?
No.
Well, what you said spoken most in your area is
French.
Is French.
Yes.
Okay.
And you had some background in French, right?
Yeah, I did. I took French in high school, luckily, and Good
old Mr. Simon.
Mr. Simon
at Uniontown High School. And give him a shout out.
Yeah, I have to give him a shout out. He got me established my foundation in French, and so at least I had that going for me when I was going there.
So last questions about the locale: Swiss food, music, and literature. What do you like out there?
The food's amazing. I mean, the quality of food's really good. They're known for their cheeses. They have so I can tell you, Swiss cheese here in America is nowhere close to what true Swiss cheese is, and their chocolate is incredible as well. And they're also known for some sausages, and they have some German influence on their cuisine as well.
Sweet chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
Milk
mainly,
chocolate. They do.
Is majority milk. So.
Sounds great. So your research. What's your area of focus? Why is it an important topic for you?
Yeah, we do metabolism. We kind of have a crossover between aging and diabetes and obesity, all 3. We work with...
So you load up on that chocolate and then do the studies on it.
Exactly. So we work with people aged 60 to 80 years old, and we put them through exercise interventions, and they're all pre-diabetic. And we see what changes in their muscle after the intervention. The intervention lasts 16 weeks, and we do pre and post testing.
So since you've been with the research or with the project, what's been the biggest or most significant discovery or observation that you guys have been able to make?
You know, we're still in the early stages, because when we went there, there was no lab. There was no one doing this research in Switzerland in our area, so we're kind of like on the forefront of that. So the first whole year I was there, we were establishing the lab, so we really are now just starting to get the data in. But what we can tell you so far is that our exercise intervention does work, and exercise does work as well as medicine. I mean, exercise is medicine, you can say. So
you're looking at exercise in relation to aging, to obesity, to diabetes, even. Yeah,
exactly.
And exercise, so far, you're maybe discovering that maybe exercise has a role in all 3 of those,
in
preventing or slowing down the process.
Exactly.
I'm going to go off script here or off my card a little bit, but obesity, the amount of obesity in Switzerland, is it similar to the United States? Does the United States have more obesity, or what's it like?
It's actually they're the leanest country in Europe. So Switzerland doesn't have much, and so that's kind of a hard, because one of our groups in the study has to be an obese group, and it's difficult for us to recruit people in that group usually. But unfortunately for the U.S., we're the leaders for that. So I know when I'm done there, I'll come back to work in the U.S. So
what do you attribute their general good health or I guess low body weight to? Is that, I mean, are they hiking those Swiss Alps?
That's exactly what it is.
Really?
It's physical activity. They're moving a lot, and they walk a lot, and not many people own cars. And I see even old women in their 80 years old walking to grocery stores and walking back. So they really just move a lot more than the typical American does. So I would say that's the main thing over there. It's not that they eat any healthier because they're eating fondue, and that's high in calories. It's just that they move a lot over there.
So do you have any recommendations for viewers in terms of diet? What's the safest and healthiest way to lose weight? We're in the month of January. This is probably, when people talk about diets, I don't know if they really start them, but this is New Year's resolution season still. So what are your recommendations?
Well, for diet, I mean, I think it's just really limiting your portions. That's another thing, if I had to say, that they do over there differently in Europe, is their portion sizes are a lot smaller, And when it comes to weight loss, it really is the diet matters more. And when we do our intervention studies, the people, they'll say like, oh, we didn't lose any weight, we lost maybe a few pounds. And we say, yeah, we know that because it's been shown in a lot of studies that diet really is the main thing to lose weight. So it's really, I'd say, you know, limiting your portion sizes and really staying away from fattening foods, definitely.
Do you believe that diet and exercise are linked at all? And maybe the reason why I'm asking this is the other day Dave and I are having a conversation, and especially if we're working on a weekend, you know, we may meet someplace for breakfast, go someplace for lunch, and end up at dinner at a third restaurant. So we tend to maybe overindulge a little bit, or it's the busy lifestyle you're in. And Dave was just mentioning that when he exercises, he finds...
I find it easier to eat healthy because I realize how much effort I'm expending, how much effort it takes to burn those calories. So that motivates me when I'm eating. I'm thinking it's not worth it. You know, I want to eat healthier.
That's a good thinking to have. But unfortunately, the majority of people, they think that they exercise, so it means that they can eat.
So they can reward themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the worst way. The way that Dave says is perfect. That's how people should think, that you put in that much effort, you want to reward yourself by fueling your body with good food and staying away from you know, all the fast food and all the bad stuff.
So we talked a little bit about exercise. What do you recommend as a regime?
You know, for New Year's resolutions, it seems everyone wants to go in extreme. They want to lose like 30 pounds in 1 month, and I say the most attainable goals for people are to make short-term goals. Maybe get a partner with them to help keep them motivated, make a friendly competition, and I'd say you know, it's all you need is 5 days a week, 30 minutes, or you can substitute that with 3 days a week, 20 minutes vigorous activity, which could be maybe walking and then sprinting, or not even a full sprint, maybe just intervals like that as well, and supplementing that also with some resistance training 3 days a week as well. And so it really doesn't take that much. You're looking at maybe 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity of activity, and it can make a difference in your life. And that's what we give our volunteers for our studies, is moderate intensity, 150 minutes per week, and we see big improvements in insulin sensitivity, and they really get out of that pre-diabetic state.
And I always find, would you agree that those first couple weeks of that exercise regimen, that's always the toughest, and then after you get yourself trained in that habit and overcome that initial, oh man, I haven't exercised in a while, do I really want to keep this up? Then it's not smooth sailing, but it does get easier.
Yeah, definitely. Once you establish that routine, you can really get into it, and you'll start to enjoy it. You'll feel better, your energy levels will increase, and then you'll realize you really need exercise regularly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about your time in Switzerland, about some of the things you're working on. You're going back very soon, within the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So how long will you be there, and when will your program conclude? When will you be Dr. Nick Borowski?
I still have 2 years. I actually have my half thesis defense end of this month, and that's the halfway mark where I show my committee my proposal, and I let them know what I'll be doing next in my PhD, and then 2 years from now I should be all finished with it. So.
Wow. So that's 2 years down the road. What's your 10-year plan?
10-year plan? That's tough. You know, I'd like to do a postdoc. I'm thinking maybe in Pittsburgh, because I went and visited my former lab last week, and that's a really good opportunity that I can be back in that lab, because they do similar research to what we're doing, and after that, I would like to work in the industry at a diabetes or obesity institute doing research, biomedical research. So that's what I hope to be in 10 years.
Excellent. Well, we wish you all the success. We thank you for taking some time while you're home with family to come into the studio and be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Nick Borowski. And we'll be back after these brief messages.
Do you have a buy local card?
Yes, I have one.
I do. Yeah, I have one. I use mine every day.
Where's your buy local card?
Use your Buy Local card to save money at restaurants, grocery stores, retail shops, tourist attractions, and service providers. Cards can be purchased online at www.buylocalfayette.org or by calling 724-437-7913.
Savor the flavor of Fayette. Buy local.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
We're back with Going Live with FCTV, and I'm here with Uniontown native Adam Lucidi. Adam, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Pretty good. Well, good for you to, or thank you for stopping by while you're back in town here briefly. Where are you living nowadays?
I am in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Hoboken, New Jersey. Is that an exciting place?
A lot of people think it is because the Cake Boss is from there.
Okay.
And Sandy just hit, so now it's definitely on everybody's mind. But for the most part, everybody thinks about Cake Boss, and I feel like a drug mule whenever I come back, and everyone's like, bring me some cannolis, bring me... It's sneaking stuff across the borders.
So you're bringing cannolis from New Jersey?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're working currently as a comic? Is that what you go by, a stand-up comedian? What is the proper title for a comic?
I mean, probably just stand-up comic, comedian. Just go to clubs and bars and colleges and sling jokes for just pretty much a Fozzie Bear with pants, I guess.
So you've been doing this for a long time. You wanted to have a career making people laugh since about 5th grade.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
You did stand-up at the Improv in Pittsburgh at 16.
Did, yep.
So how did your career kind of take off from there? Why don't you tell us, what was your career path from Improv at 16, wanting to make people laugh in 5th grade, to here you are, you know, now doing national gigs, really?
If it was up to me, I would have been out in New York as soon as I graduated high school. But my parents were like, oh, you got to go to college. You got to have something to fall back on. So I went to Cal U of PA. And after I graduated from there, I moved to New Jersey to start doing it, you know, as religiously as I could. Probably about 5-6 times a week. And then from there, it just started building more networks, more contacts, and then, you know, started in Jersey, New York, been to Connecticut, Denver, the Midwest, pretty much all over. It's definitely been unreal as far as how it's started as me in 5th grade with a little monkey puppet to, you know, where I am now.
So, as a kid, you wanted to make people laugh. Did you perform for your family and friends back then at all?
I was always quiet with my family, and I have no idea why, but it's to the point where, like, even my family's like, why are you so shy? Why are you so shy around us? What's the And then when I'm with my friends, it's completely opposite. Like, I'm the loudest, I'm, you know, the most outgoing, and I don't know why that's always been. I feel like maybe just my family has been funnier than me. I don't know, and I just kind of take it all in and download everything that they're doing. I don't know.
You had kind of this, maybe an obsession with making people laugh. Is there a kick you get out of it? Why do you want to make people laugh?
In all honesty, I don't think there's anything else that I really could have done as far as a career or a job. It's always been something that I've just always really enjoyed, the whole art of it. Just making people forget for, you know, 15, 20 minutes of whatever's going on in their life with just stupid stories about me or little jokes or observational stuff or anything like that.
Now, you mentioned your academic career a little bit, and I noticed you were sure to point out that it was California University of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
You have a skit about that, but let's talk a little bit about some of your other studying. You studied sketch comedy writing at the Second City, is that correct?
Yeah, I did a boot camp probably a couple years ago. It was like a week long. They did writing for 3 hours, and then they did improv for like 3 hours, and it was a blast. I mean, I like the improv part more than the writing, but I definitely learned a lot with the writing aspect of it.
You also studied at the American Comedy Institute and the Actors Playground. Did you get to work with any actors or comics there while you were there?
Not at the American Comedy Institute. I did that once I first got out there to figure out, as far, like I said, with the writing and everything, and then I eventually got, comfortable enough in my own skin on stage where I really didn't feel like workshops or anything. Actors Playground, the guy, I forget his name, but he would always come through the classes. The guy that does Bender's voice on Futurama.
Okay.
That guy, I think he's done like Marcus Phoenix and like Gears of War and stuff like that too. I forget his name though, but he would come through, and when you know it, all the classes that I would be in, he never popped in for those. He would always come to the younger kids for like 6th and 7th grade, and I'm like, I could probably pass for 6th or 7th grade. Can I just sit in for a minute and see?
So, do you feel that there are any comedians or actors, artists out there that have influenced you or inspired you, or where do you draw your inspiration from when you write jokes?
My biggest inspirations are Lewis Black and Brian Regan.
Okay.
And those are two completely
different sides of the spectrum.
Oh, so different. So different. I just love the whole, the physicality of Brian Regan, the faces and the voices and all that stuff. But then, Lewis Black, he has that whole emotion thing, and I try to, put it somewhere in between those two.
The two.
Yeah.
I got to see Lewis Black a couple years ago down in at the Creative Arts Center in West Virginia. Great show.
Yeah.
Great performer. So let's talk a little bit about your performances. You've performed all over New York City, Gotham Comedy Club, New York Comedy Club, Broadway Comedy Club, NYU. What's your favorite New York City gig that you've played?
I always like New York Comedy Club. It's just really small. It's intimate. It only sits about, I would say, like maybe 70 to 75 people. I seem to gravitate towards the more intimate aspect of them. I mean, Gotham's huge. The upstairs is big, so it's a little bit more difficult to try and grab that connection with the audience. But yeah, New York Comedy Club's probably like my favorite place in the city to perform in.
So you're out there working in New York, living in Hoboken. Biggest difference between New Yorkers and Pittsburghers?
Wow. Probably for the first couple months that I was out there, I had to change a lot of the Pittsburghese words.
Okay, like what's one you use all the time?
Yins was definitely, yeah, I used yins so much. And now it's to the point, like I would use it in my act, and I would see people in the audience like kind of, they wouldn't know what it was.
What's he talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Like after a show, I went out with or was going to go out with a group of comedians, and I was like, do yins want to go get something to eat or something like after the show? And they were like, wait, what? And I was like, do yins want to go get something to eat? And they were like, what was, they had no idea what I was saying. And I was like, do you guys, I was like, do you want to go get something to eat? And they were like, what is a yin? Like, what is? So I spent like most of the time while we were eating describing and explaining
what
a lot
yins
of
are.
that and a lot of other Pittsburgh words. Giant eagle, jumbo, rubber bands, all that stuff.
So do you draw a lot of your jokes that you have from your upbringing and maybe from the region here? Or?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a lot of hometown stuff in my act. Because I mean, you know, Uniontown and Pittsburgh are, you know, places that I, you know, hold dear to my heart. So it's, once you have that emotional connection with, you know, your material, it's easier to tap into that place and give the audience like an inside look as to where I've come from.
And I think the people of this area really can identify with your comedy. Not that people of other areas can't, but there's kind of a regional flair or dialect that maybe some of what you do has. Let's talk a little bit about where you store your ideas. You know, I get up in the middle of the night and I have a great idea. I go back to sleep and I forget it. You know, next morning I'm like, hang on, what was that? It was going to change my life last night, and today you know, all I can think about is a bagel.
And then 3 weeks later, you see it You're like, I thought of that already. Yeah.
Dave stole that idea. No. But so do you keep a notepad by your bed, or when you're working, how do you do that?
Yeah, I have a really big notebook that, you know, it's just a bunch of chicken scratch. And then I'll usually carry around like a small, you know, flip pad, and if something happens during the day, I'll just jot it down really quick and then eventually play with it at some point on stage. But I have probably about 5 or 6 notebooks of just nonsense. Just stuff that's like incoherent. It's like, what does that even mean? But eventually it just has to be hashed out and figured out on stage and figured out.
So you mentioned that you like to do some improvisation, maybe a little bit more, but do you write your routines? Do you practice them before someone? Get feedback at all before you go out on stage, or do you really just kind of test piece by piece? How do you work that in?
At first, when I first started, I was very like, you know, I would have a set list and be like, okay, I got to say this and then that and then this and then that. And now it's to the point where I'm so comfortable on stage and know, you know, as far as like my surroundings and timing and stuff like that, that I can stray away and talk about something else or try something new, or, you know, if someone's in the audience that, you know, I want to talk to them. And I mean, I've definitely gotten a lot more comfortable and more relaxed on stage as far as, you know, stepping away from, I have to talk about this, this has to be done, and that. Now it's just whatever, just go have fun.
Hecklers, do you get them?
Love them.
You love them?
Oh, I love them.
How do you deal with them?
You just give them rope that they eventually hang themselves with. It's so awesome. Seriously. A lot of the stuff, I mean, I can't say on the show because it's probably R-rated, but it's just so funny. They feel like they're adding to the show. They want to feel involved. And a lot of the times it's not really, you know, them trying to be mean. It's just them wanting attention and them being like, you know, if you ask a question, a lot of it is just they don't realize that it's just shut up. Like you don't have to be like, yeah, that is true. Like you don't have to interact at all. But
rhetorical is not in their vocabulary.
No, not at all. Especially when that 2-drink minimum sets in the club and they're 6 drinks in, they have no idea. But I love them. I absolutely. It just makes it fresh and new.
Is that
every
something
time.
that threw you off at the beginning that you kind of learned to handle, or?
My first one that I ever got, I was at Gotham, and I was doing a joke about yawning and how it goes low to high, like, but it never goes reverse. And the guy did it in the audience before I got to do it, the act out. And I was like, see, you're screwing me up, shut up. And then that got like a little bit of applause. And I was like, I'll do the jokes, like I got it, like I'll handle this, you just drink that. And that got an even bigger response. So after that, I was like, I guess that's how you do it.
That's how you
deal with it.
So, you know, we only have a couple minutes here left. What does the future hold for Adam Lucidi? Where are you going?
Hopefully somewhere. I hope I'm going somewhere.
Back to Hoboken.
Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm going to go back to Hoboken and just start smuggling in cakes from Cake Boss. I mean, a lot of my friends are, like a lot of the people that I started with are like starting to pop up on, you know, like MTV and VH1 and Comedy Central, late night, all over. So, I mean, I'm hoping that eventually, you know, I'll just bust through that barrier and, you know, follow in their footsteps and end up on, you know, a talking head show or just something. I mean, I would definitely like to eventually be on SNL at some point. I've always said that, like, I would like my career to go like Adam Sandler's. Like, started with stand-up, went to, you know, SNL and then movies. Because SNL is just, it needs something, I feel like.
It does.
I don't know if I'm it, but I'll try and do something. But I would definitely love to do movies, but that's way down the road.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you're ever back in the area again, you have an open invitation to stop by the show. Maybe someday we'll get you to do a set here.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
have a buy local card?
Yes, I have one.
I do. Yeah, I have one.
I use mine every day.
Where's your buy local card?
Use your Buy Local card to save money at restaurants, grocery stores, retail shops, tourist attractions, and service providers. Cards can be purchased online at www.buylocalfayette.org or by calling 724-437-7913.
Savor the flavor of Fayette. Buy local.
Well, thanks for sticking around with us. Joining me on the Going Live couch is Devin Grote. Devin, you've been with us here before. You are with Fayette Penn Economic Development Council, but since you were last here, your title or maybe your function has changed a little bit. Why don't you tell us about that?
Sure. I used to be with the Buy Local Network in the Farmers Market, which I really enjoyed, but I have moved 2 cubicles down and switched titles at Fayette Penn, and now work more with businesses and finding businesses capital and loans to get them going and keep them in the county. So.
Well, that's great work that you're doing out there, and I'm sure with your new position, you're enjoying that.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's not as much of the fun, colorful kind of projects, but it's really important what we do, and it's really cool to see the different businesses in Fayette County. You'd never guess some of the things that are here, and you just don't know about. So it's been a lot of fun learning and meeting a lot of new people.
So one of the things that you were involved with through Fayette Penn before and continue to be involved with is the Fayette Young Professionals Network. Yeah. And that's something that's been spearheaded and has taken off over the last year or so. But you're working on a new project on Main Street. And why don't you give us a little bit of information about that project?
Sure. So the Fayette Young Professionals is actually an independent group. Fayette Penn, as well as the Country Club, and a couple other organizations have been our main sponsors, but we're a group of 21 to 40-year-olds who either live or work in Fayette County. And while we're a professional group, we really recognize the importance of, if we're going to build ourselves and our strength personally and professionally, we need to help the community grow with us. So one of our projects, and it's our first and our largest community project yet, is to do a giant mosaic mural in downtown Uniontown. The Sprout Fund came up about this time of last year. They put out their application, and the Sprout Fund is out of Pittsburgh and highly, devoted to the arts a lot of times. And it was around the same time that Fayette Penn purchased and acquired the old VFW building near Five Corners. So we had this much of a blighted lot in one of our main places in downtown Uniontown, very visible to everybody who passes through. And we thought, why not do something there? And we came up with the idea from a project in Johnstown where a lot of the community members came in and placed ceramic tile on cement boards that were cut sort of like a puzzle piece. So what we came up with through many community panels and discussions was to put a river, and it's going to be in the parking lot right across the street from the VFW. There was that ugly green wall that was falling down. If you go past there now, we've done a lot of masonry work, and so it is fixed up. It's ready for the mural to go up, but throughout the winter and the spring, community members will come in, and this is our tile. They'll place the tile on the cement boards, and it's going to be...
Now the tiles come in these big pieces, but for a mosaic, you're going to be cutting these down. Is that correct?
It's an interesting design. It'll be sort of like an ebb and flow of a river. So in some portions, it will stay very uniformed as that.
Sure.
But then in between that, there will be a lot of, we'll cut them down and we'll make it more of a mosaic. There'll be some mirror pieces in there so you can see yourself in the mural. And that's really what the mural's about. It is about beautifying the area, but so much of it is about the community coming in, putting it together, working together, and then being able to say they have a piece of ownership, they have a piece of their work in the town. A big portion of what the young professionals want to do in Uniontown and in Fayette County is to make people proud that they live here, to make young people feel like they want to come back and they want to stay here and they want to work here and make it a better place to live. And this is just one small way of doing it.
So you've partnered with some different organizations. Touchstone Center for the Arts is one of them. How's that partnership kind of worked in favor of the project.
Right. Adam Kenny is the executive director at Touchstone, and he's our lead artist on the project. So he's designed the river. He's picked out the tile for us, and you know, I'm no mosaic genius, but I've taken on 150 feet of a mosaic, so he's helping along the way a little bit. And you know, Touchstone's a great gem in Fayette County and one that not many people know about. So hopefully it helps him bring some visibility to Touchstone, and you know, just as we hope that people get to know Fayette young professionals through the project.
So you mentioned one of your funding sources earlier in the interview, the Sprout Fund, but you've also received some funding through the Laurel Highlands Visitor Bureau through the tourism grants. Yes. And a couple other places. Why don't you tell us who all is involved in the funding as of right now?
We definitely, it's kind of like a mosaic. We've pieced together some funds here, but the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau has been a great help. Their funds help fix up the wall, so if you can go downtown right now and see the improvements to the wall. The Sprout Fund has helped us. That's out of Pittsburgh, as well as PA Partners in the Arts. We have received a grant through them. And donated materials have come from the Home Depot. So everybody's been really generous. You know, you come up with these great ideas to do a project and you ask how it'll ever be done. But there's funds out there, and you know, we targeted funds that were meant for art projects. So these funds would have went to do an art project in another town if we wouldn't have jumped on them.
Sure, so it's not like you're taking funding from
Right.
you know, economic development
Right.
or from you know, another nonprofit or something like that. This is funding that was meant for arts, and it's going towards the project. And anyone who's put a project together knows that you know, materials add up pretty quickly, even with volunteer labor. You guys are looking at $17,000 in total costs of the project potentially.
We've received $16,171 in grant funds, and then with some in-kind and donated materials patched onto that, it should be about a $17,000 project. So it's you know, there's so much that can be done in a community, whether it be with people or with art or whatever it might be. But again, you know, that's $17,000 that would have went somewhere else for an art project, so we're bringing it in and adding some pretty neat, some creative art to Uniontown.
So we have just a couple minutes left. Two quick questions I have. If someone wants to get involved, is there still time to come out and be able to put some towels up or to be part of the project?
We're just actually getting that started. So if you have a group or you yourself just want to come out, you can email the young professionals at info@youngfayette.com. That's info@youngfayette.com. And just let us know you're interested. We can have you out.
And when you work on any project, you get close to other people. Are there new friendships that have kind of been birthed through the mural project?
Absolutely. I mean, Fayette Young Professionals in general has given me so many friendships, and there's 30 of us that make up the core of our group, and so many that come in and out. So the people I've gotten to know, and then with the mural project, we have people of all ages, and that's the idea, coming in from different places in the county to work together.
Well, Devin, thank you for being with us once again, for sharing this great project. Sometime after the project is completed, we'd love to get some pictures on to show our audience. But anytime the Fayette Young Professionals or you have something to share with us, you're welcome back. Stay with us. We'll be back after these messages.
A few years ago, I was at a dead end, underemployed, with no idea of where my life was headed. Then I enrolled at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology's School of Healthcare Careers and discovered a great career and great life was only months away. Now, I've started the career of my dreams, and the future couldn't be brighter.
The School of Healthcare Careers at the Pennsylvania Institute of Health and Technology offers career-focused, hands-on training for these in-demand fields. Call 724-437-4600 or visit piht.edu for information.
Do you have a buy local card?
Yes, I have one.
I do. Yeah, I have one.
I use mine every day.
Where's your buy local card?
Use your buy local card to save money at restaurants, grocery stores, retail shops, tourist attractions, and service providers. Cards can be purchased online at www.buylocalfayette.org or by calling 724-437-7913.
Savor the flavor of Fayette. Buy local.
We are back on Going Live with FCTV, and we have some saucy guests with us today. We have Matt and Danielle Lancaster. They are the owners of Donata LLC and the creators of Donata Spaghetti Sauce. So it's great to have you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
for
having us. Absolutely. And hey, anyone who brings sauce is A-okay in my book, you know.
Wonderful.
So tell us about the sauce. All good things and all products start with an idea. Who had the idea? And I know you probably have to say she doesn't even. No. Where did the idea come from, and how did you decide that, hey, this is pretty good stuff, we need to go ahead and take it to the public?
Well, before I talk 90% of the time, I'm going to defer to her because this is her family's recipe, not my family's.
Well, basically, we're always trying to search for something to help people, and we, thought basically from, I don't know if you've ever heard of Tom's Shoes, but the man who started that had said that, you should have your story, something that's meaningful to everyone. So I said, we always talk about being Italian. We talk about, our families spent time feeding us, feeding people that came and helped them, do things at their homes instead of paying them with money. So we wanted to repay that by, doing something to feed other people. Right. So the idea basically came from the name Donata means gift in Italian. Okay. So a portion of the proceeds will go to feeding the hungry. So.
Well, that's great. That's a great cause. And so it's your grandmother's recipe, correct?
Yes.
So did you eat this as you grew up? Was it something that...
Yes, all the time, yes. And she never really explained how to make it. And one day I just called her on the phone and told her to tell me how to do it over the phone. And ever since then I make it that way.
And then the first time you made that, did it come out exactly
as... No.
You had to tinker with it a little bit?
Yes, definitely. And it'll never taste like my grandma's exactly,
But the recipe that's in, that is right here, we have a jar right here that's in the jar. This is your grandmother's recipe, and when you got the jars, when you first got them, when they were packaged, and they are done locally, correct?
Correct.
You have them produced locally now?
Well, they're not exactly here in Fayette County, but they're in Romney, West Virginia, actually. Okay. So it's about an hour, 45-minute drive. But I actually worked with Fayette. My cousin actually works there, Devin Grote, who's basically deals with the local businesses, and she had actually went for Fayette County Community Action because they're actually trying to see about opening up a local production kitchen. So she had mentioned two places, and once I talked to Fruppers, they were great to work with. Within 30 minutes, they actually responded to my emails and whatnot, and we started talking right away and got them to produce it.
So how many batches did you have to test and go through before you ended up with this?
Well, actually, we had given them what ours tasted like, and they went ahead and produced it to actually send it off to the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, for us to actually be able to produce it. So when they went ahead and made it, they had already tasted ours, made it as much as possible. When we went down there, we really liked the way it tasted, and we said, this is what homemade sauce in a jar is supposed to taste like, because you can get the other ones at the market, and they're great, but it doesn't always taste like that homemade sauce, but this does.
So when you use this at home, what do you recommend? Do you use it right out of the jar? Do you recommend heating it up first on the stove?
You do more of that. Good.
And what recipes do you recommend the sauce for? Like if someone
to be honest, I've heard so many different people using it with lasagna. Some people have used it on pizza, and it all depends. Like we like to add a lot more cheese to it so that it has a little bit different taste. So it actually could be used with many different things because it's kind of a basic marinara sauce.
But for Christmas, we have the whole family over, which is about 35 people. Over on Christmas Day, we had gnocchis, we had raviolis. Okay. Everything was using our sauce. Right. So you can use it for anything, basically.
Great. And are you gonna give us any of the ingredients?
Sure.
Disclose anything?
As long as we don't tell you how much, it doesn't matter if we give you the ingredients, right?
So what's in your marinara?
Good.
Well, we have tomato paste, and you're not letting me see it.
I was going to show the camera.
Yeah, I see. The people need to know.
You need to read
it.
You
need to read it. Come on, you should know.
I forget, to be honest, but we have...
Do you need me to do this then?
Go ahead.
So basically...
I have a lover's quarrel.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, tomato puree. We also have crushed tomatoes. We have oregano, basil, garlic, salt, pepper. Anything I'm missing?
No, just everything is fresh, like fresh basil and fresh parsley and so on, so that
a whole lot of love.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. We're not shaking McCormick into it or anything.
Before they can these, or before they can the sauce, do they cook it? Is it cooked already? So when you get it, it's already a finished product. You can eat it right out of the jar.
Exactly.
Do you ever do that?
Yeah.
You ever just take a spoon? And
Exactly. I do, at least. She might not, but it's like peanut butter for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of peanut butter and bread, you know,
right.
we have that because actually the Nick Broski was on and said this is the best metabolic enhancer sauce he's ever tasted in his entire life. So
Did he?
yeah, that's what he said.
Good guy.
Straight from Switzerland.
Do you eat peanut butter out of the jar?
I do.
I do too.
And Nutella as well.
Do you do that?
I do.
I thought I was
yes.
the only. I'm good. I'm glad I met you.
No,
That's great.
You're good.
So now going more into the I want to say consumer end of the product. Where is the sauce? Where can we get it? Where is it available today? And where can people find you if they have questions about it or want to purchase it?
You can go ahead with that.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so at this moment in time, we are looking into getting into stores in the local area. Right now, there are not any that stock it, but we do have an Amazon website. If you just type in Donata sauce, it'll come up. Same with eBay. We have a Facebook page. From there, you can sign up for our newsletter. You can contact us if you're in the local area. We'll actually come and deliver it to you. And with that, you can do it either by check, cash, credit card. I actually can use that with my smartphone. I use a program called Square, which is free of use. And basically, we look to see about getting into local places like maybe Romeo's and the actual supermarkets around the area if possible as well.
But if people follow you on Facebook, then they'll be kept abreast
Exactly.
on the news, and they'll be able to see exactly where it is and when it is. And
any new products.
And if they
anything
message
like that.
you, then they can get in touch with you over that.
Correct.
Is there anything else that we want to talk about the sauce that you guys want to bring up, that you want people to know, that you want, that they have to go buy it today or anything?
My grandmother, who is luckily the last of the Italian women in our family, the old ones, they're still around. She's 85, and she said of all the sauces she's ever tasted, this is by far the best she's ever had. So now, granted, there's some bias there probably, but she basically tells the story.
So
it's
we
black
have
and white with
grandma's
her.
seal of approval.
On both sides.
Yes.
On both sides, obviously.
Now
Yes.
that's something special. Now, are we going to go ahead and taste this?
Sure.
Yes.
Because I can smell it, and it's smelling pretty good. I mean, I'm just
We'll
gonna
let you taste first, because we know what it's like. So let's bring the bread over here.
Why? It's a party, right?
It is a party.
That's true, and if you're Italian,
we're all
you just,
Italian, right?
That's right.
Exactly.
So just dip
Let's
it in
give
there.
it a
You don't even
taste.
need a spoon.
That's fine.
No, you don't need a
Well.
spoon.
She yells at me for double dipping salsa, though.
Hey.
And ketchup.
I get yelled at for everything.
I
I'm
love
used to it.
So.
It's delicious.
That is very good.
Thank
And
you.
I could definitely see that on a big plate of spaghetti, or on one of my favorite foods, garlic bread.
Okay.
So
Definitely.
All right. Well, this is actually really good. People can go get it. They can get it on Amazon. Go to Amazon. Type in Donata sauces. Donata is Donata. Again, Matt and Danielle Lancaster, thank you so much for being here. Your sauce is fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and eat more of this, but while I do, Gino Malika is going to take us out. So thank you for being here.
Thank
Gino,
you.
No problem.
go for it. Play us out. I'm going to keep eating.
Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy path throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shouts of acclamation to take me home, what joy shall fill my heart? Then I shall bow